So good afternoon to you all. Thank you for your time this afternoon. I guess time is the one thing that we never seem to have enough of. I know certainly in my life there's never enough hours in the day to try and get everything done. And I guess Satya Nadella has been in charge of Microsoft for 3 years now. And you will have seen in the press that the Microsoft share price is now the highest it's been for the last 17 years, and he's really turned the business around. And one of the first things he did was really focus the business on what we should be doing. How we've always been a company that produces amazing technology, but what he's really focused the teams on is actually how do we deliver great solutions for the customers. And the first thing he did was actually to change our mission statement to empower every person and every organisation on the planet to achieve more. And you'll see throughout my presentation today that theme coming through in terms of the features and functionality in the product that help you optimise the use of your resources, reduce the number of clicks it takes to do a task or automating process, work smarter. And really, Dynamics sits at the heart of that. So many years ago, Satya used to head up the Dynamics practice within Microsoft. And he always had this vision of the team that it would actually be, if you like, the greatest product within Microsoft. And that vision is starting to turn into reality now. We hear a lot about digital transformation. I've mentioned that Microsoft itself is going through this huge change. And a lot of our customers are saying, well, we want to understand how you're doing it, but we also want the tools and technologies to let us do our own digital transformation journey. So, how do we engage customers differently? We certainly know that the way customers buy has changed. The increasing use of social media and asking your friends, what do you think of this product, or who should I buy this from, is certainly a new thing. They do a lot of research online before they actually speak to a vendor to actually buy a product or a service. So how do you pick up on those kind of buying signals early on and engage with those customers? We also talk about how do we empower employees. So really where you're driving efficiency is at the operational side of the business, actually making smart decisions in real time, scheduling and optimizing your use of resources throughout the business. And how do you actually transform your products? And I guess we often hear about, I guess the key references, we talk about Uber and Airbnb are the ones that are normally trotted out. But I'm going to talk today about a very traditional engineering business that's gone on a digital transformation journey, which is Rolls-Royce. Engineering company, produces amazing jet engines and other technology. And really they realise that customers, they don't want to spend 30 million a pop on a jet engine. They actually just want a device for moving their planes from A to B reliably at a price that they could understand and manage from a budget perspective. And so they were one of the first organisations to jump on this consumption-based model. And the way that they do that is they charge the customer per kilowatt hour or per kilometre, if you like, that engine is flown for. And they put SLAs around that as well. And in order to deliver that service, they really need to be able to manage those engines so that they do operate reliably, because the cost of a plane delay can be $1 million or more. And so one of the things they did was fit their engines with an array of sensors that collect vast amounts of data during the course of a flight. Now at the moment the satellite technology isn't available to capture that data in real time. So what happens is when the planes land at the airport and dock at the air station, all of that data is sent up into the Microsoft Azure cloud, it's analysed in real terms, and then any alerts or whatever are notified to the operational staff, and that's surfaced up through these very nice visual Power BI dashboards. So here's an example of one of the dashboards where the maintenance manager can see all the flights that's coming in, he can see a number of bits of data, and in the top right hand corner here you can see there's a red alert, there's some problem with one of the planes. And so what they're able to do is click in on that alert, and they can see that the particular plane in question is in Germany. They can actually then drill down on that plane and get some more information about it. So they know it's at Frankfurt Airport, they know which gate it's at, who the pilot and captain is, first officer, and they've also got some information about how the engine's performed over its last flight. And obviously, not only do you want your engines to be reliable, you want them to be fuel efficient as well, because that's the biggest cost to the airline. And so they're getting some metrics on there, and they can see there's actually a red flag on the left-hand engine there. So there's something wrong with that propulsion system, and I can drill down on that and get a bit more information on it. And what it's telling me is actually there's a problem with the primary fuel pump. So I'm going to have a look at that in a bit more detail. And I get a huge array of technical information about how that pump is performing and that there is a problem with it. And what I can do in order to make a decision as to whether I want to request maintenance or not, what I can do is have a look at some data here. So the green line is what we predicted that pump would do. The blue line is actually how it's performing. And we can actually see that it's not going to make it to its next scheduled maintenance window before it has a problem. But what it is telling me is actually the plane's at Frankfurt. Its next destination actually doesn't have the parts, so it's only got low inventory for the parts, but we have parts available at Frankfurt, we have crew available. It's not due to depart for 3 3/4 hours, and we've got and it only is going to take 2.5 hours to fix that pump. So what I can do is actually decide that yes, I am going to create a work request. I'm going to notify the technician, so they'll get an alert on a mobile device. It will create the service task for them to record the fact that it's done that. It will update the aircraft records. It will update my inventory of parts, and it will go and create that work request for me. Okay. So it's delivering a fantastic service for Rolls-Royce customers, but it's also driving a very efficient process for them, and it's delivering better outcomes for the customer as well. So fewer delays. The fact that they're doing service activities within these windows when the planes are turning around anyway means that the scheduled services, the plane is out of commission for much shorter periods of time, and therefore, you know, it's earning money for the airline. So if we look at some of the technologies that's enabling that digital transformation, we talk about the Microsoft Cloud and how really all the tools and technologies are now working together seamlessly to help customers deliver their solutions. And so if we look traditionally at our productivity and collaboration tools around Office, Office 365 has been around for many years, is a great set of products, but where Dynamics fits in the picture is around business applications. And so this is about managing your business processes, managing your structured data where you want to manage risk and governance. So Office is great, often you're creating documents, but generally they're in the context of some form of business process. And so when I said that Dynamics is at the heart of what we do, that's really about managing, optimizing your business processes. The other components of the Microsoft Cloud that support that would be the Azure and the Cortana analytics, so how we can use analytics to help organizations make smart decisions, and how we can innovate with using that data and connect IoT devices into Dynamics. So for example, it's great if you've got machines being monitored to say, are they running okay? But when they have a problem, you need to alert somebody, and Dynamics is the ideal tool for raising that case, creating those work orders and managing that process. So if we talk about Dynamics, the Dynamics products actually have been around for many, many years. The AX products actually have their roots, I think, go back more than 25 years ago. And the Dynamics CRM product has been around since the early 2000s. The challenge has been, though, that they have been a separate product set. And so what's really happened with Dynamics 365 is that those products have been combined. So they still sit, if you like, at the moment as separate products, but to the user it's completely seamless whether they're transitioning between the old CRM product or the old AX product. And also from an integration perspective, the data transfers seamlessly between the two. So if I update a customer record on the financials part, it's reflected in CRM and vice versa. So when people ask me, how would you summarise what Dynamics is, the phrase that I've coined is, think of it as a little bit like digital Lego. You want to build business applications, and Dynamics has always been a great platform for building business solutions. What's great about it now is that there's a number of pre-built applications around sales, customer service, field service, and the financials and operations that are pre-built for you out of the box. And generally, for a lot of organisations, it only takes a relatively small amount of configuration to adapt those for your business need. But because they're all Lego, they all talk to one another, they all work together. If you do need to build some form of custom application, you've got all the Microsoft tools and technologies that allow you to do that. So we're going to have a look at these in more detail later on in this afternoon's presentation, but I just thought I'd talk about the 4 themes that are really driving the product. So the first of these is purpose-built. We said that out of the box you have these pre-built applications that only need some lightweight configuration to get them going. The thing is, traditionally, if you have best-of-breed solutions, the data sits in different silos, and so integrating that data becomes a challenge. By bringing them together into a single product, it enables us to actually use that data in real time for operational purposes. The other thing is businesses can start off very small, so typically organisations may start off doing sales, for example, and then develop customer service or field service and so on. And so you can start off and develop as your requirements grow and the business gets used to the solution. One of the other things, though, that combining CRM and ERP into a single platform now enables us to deliver is an end-to-end process, so how you can go from prospect through to cash. And that's, again, hugely important. It's probably the one thing that's created the most interest in the product. Traditionally with CRM products, they get up to the point of the quote, and then when the customer places the order, it goes off into a different system. With this, it enables you to track that whole opportunity through to sale, through to collection of money from the customer. And it also means, as a salesperson, if you're out with a customer, it's very easy to see their lifetime order history, to see what their current balance is, and whether they're paying their bills or not, and also what stock you're holding for that particular product, or when you think the next delivery is due, so that you can talk about time frame for delivery with the customer. So that's a simple example of how integration allows you to join the dots and connect those processes together. One of the other themes is productivity. So I talked about enabling organisations and individuals to achieve more. More and more we actually work on mobile devices, and one of the great features within Dynamics is the ability to work on mobile devices, whether it's a tablet or a phone device. And most importantly, and particularly in WA, where our internet connectivity is not great, especially if you're a Telstra customer, is that you can actually work with your data offline on these, and then the data will synchronise back online when you're back in range. So that's one key component. The other thing is you waste a huge amount of time when you have to switch between applications to do a particular task. The deep integration with the Office applications, in particular Outlook, means that I can get an email from a customer. With a click of a button, I can bring up all of that customer's data from within the Dynamics system, so I can see everything about them, their order history, current cases, etc., all within Outlook. And likewise, if I've had a meeting with the customer and I want to capture some meeting notes and I want to be able to send a quote to the customer, again, I can do all of that within the mobile client and from within Outlook without ever having to leave the application. And that's a huge time saver for users. And it's also, I guess, change management is one of the biggest challenges with IT systems implementation. By using tools that users are readily familiar with, that barrier is lowered considerably. Third thing we want to talk about is intelligent. I guess the thing you will hear a lot about this year is artificial intelligence, and how we can use computers to help organisations make smarter decisions. And Business intelligence has been talked about for a long time. I mean, when I started in IT 25 years ago, we used to call it management information systems or decision support systems. And I actually like the latter because data is just pretty numbers on a page or pretty pictures on a page. It's only when you take action on that data that you get value out of it. And so what artificial intelligence is doing is not just showing operational staff information, it's actually giving them recommendations as what actions to take. And that will be transformational for organisations. And so out of the box, Dynamics it's actually had some of these for more than 2 years now, but there's a whole lot more been added with the latest release. So things like, I guess the key information you want to say at the start of the day is which of my customers should I be spending time with? Which of my opportunities do I need to work on because they're most likely to close? So that kind of relational insights and lead scoring has been around for a long time. But if we look at your financials and operations, maybe you're about to place an order to replenish some stock. The system's smart enough now to say, actually, you buy these other products from that same supplier, and based on your current sales, although you haven't reached your minimal stock level, you're going to reach it in the next couple of days. Do you want to add those to the order so that you can combine the order and save freight, for example? So there's a lot more smarts being built into the system rather than just hard rules that you need to follow. And I guess also we talked about how the Microsoft tools work together. Power BI is a key part of that. The one thing that managers like is oversight of their business processes, business operations. They want to understand where the bottlenecks are, if there's particular staff or particular teams that are overworked or underworked. And so producing some nice visualizations that you can interact with to really understand your business is a key component of a dynamic solution. So I'm going to talk about or show a short video now for one of Microsoft's customers, an organization, an engineering company called Sandvik Cormont, and they actually make machines that make steel parts. And they have a huge amount of knowledge and experience that's traditionally has been tied up in their staff's heads. And one of the things they've done, they work with Microsoft to say, well, we actually want to make that knowledge available to our customers and show them that if they buy our equipment, we can help them to manage it, to maximise the throughput of it, to minimise the maintenance downtime of it, and to get value out of it.
Sandvik Cormont has been in the forefront in the metal cutting industry for more than 70 years. What we can offer for our customers is specific knowledge at the tooling level, minimizing idle time up to 50%. At Sandvik Cormont, we use Azure IoT Suite to collect data in real time and getting facts out of the machining process. With our sensor-equipped tools, that is possible. If you know the temperature, if you know the load, if you know the vibration, if you have that and can use that type of data, you can increase the efficiency of the machining process and generating savings for our customers of millions of dollars. Our decades of knowledge and experience from the metal cutting industry, combined with Cortana intelligence, I think makes the perfect blend. It is about using the cloud, giving instant recommendations about cutting parameters, speeds and feeds, connect that to our CRM system, bring that into our call centers and instantly give feedback to the customer. This enables customers to predict when to change a tool, when to order a tool, how to move out of a vibration zone. In simple words, how to become more efficient. We at Sandvik Cormont are really excited how Dynamics 365 brings all the systems together. With this solution, we are able to reinvent the art of manufacturing. Tools, machines, processes working together, all the way from the customer to the sales interaction, helping us deliver an unprecedented level of field service.
So the final theme I want to talk about now is how Dynamics 365 is adaptable. So we we recognise that whilst it is a great platform, that inevitably you will need to integrate the solution with existing systems and specialist systems. And so one of the ways we're doing that is through a common data service that allows you to easily exchange data between those systems, and I'll talk about that in a moment. And then also how you can automate tasks by integrating across applications. So Dynamics has got a great workflow engine that it can use within itself, but what about if you have workflow that needs to communicate with external systems? And then also, what about if you want to build your own custom applications? Maybe you need a simple application for capturing workplace hazards, for example. You don't want to give your staff a full-blown access to CRM, you just want a very simple app for doing that. We've got a great solution that enables you to do that too. So within Dynamics itself, we have its own out-of-the-box entities for capturing information like projects or customers, orders, leads, and so on. But what's happened now is that data model is now integrated with the wider Office 365 data model, and so tasks, calendars, emails, etc. are all integrated. And so when I'm looking at scheduling staff work within Dynamics, I can actually see their availability based on appointments they've got in their Outlook calendars as well. And that's a real game changer. But also, we expect over time that various ISVs and partners will build out their own entities for things like industry solutions such as patients with care plans or votes, for example. And we see that ecosystem growing very, very quickly. We also see how we enable partners to develop their own solutions that they can put in what we call App Source, which is the Microsoft App Store. So they build on top of the platform. And if you look on App Source now, there's lots of solutions there that you can try for 30 days, see whether they're suitable for your business or see what customizations you need to do, but can get up and running with those very, very quickly. We've also created a couple of tools. Power Apps, I mentioned, is a real simple way of building mobile apps using sort of drag and drop. There's no real coding involved with it. And for doing very specific tasks, Power Apps, I was talking to a customer the other day where the CEO, who does like to be a bit hands-on, wanted to build a solution, and he said he built a Power App in 20 minutes. And that was the CEO, so it's not hard from a technical perspective. And then Microsoft Flow is a cross-application workflow tool. So you can have particular activities. Maybe you have an email come in from a particular customer, they're an important customer. It creates an alert for you automatically on your mobile phone. So I've covered it a lot today. I've covered it very, very quickly. As I mentioned, it was a bit of a high-level overview. We're going to look at things in a bit more detail. But I just really wanted to finish with a video from the main man, Satya Nadella, where he talks about his vision and how Dynamics is actually realising that vision for Microsoft.
The dream has always been, how can we transform how work is done?
As technology transforms the world around us, new opportunities are changing the way business is done. This evolution is known as digital transformation, and it promises to enable organizations to engage their customers, empower their employees, optimize their operations, and transform their products in new and powerful ways. How do you keep pace with this transformational change? Microsoft believes you do it with transformational technology.
What if we could bring together the business applications that you use for customer service or sales or field service with the collaboration and communication software in seamless ways?
The answer to this what-if question is Microsoft Dynamics 365. It's the next generation of intelligent business applications in the cloud that breaks down the silos between CRM and ERP, incorporates the familiar productivity tools you use every day, such as Outlook and Excel, and harnesses the full power of Microsoft, including advanced analytics, Power BI, and IoT with the strength and security of Azure.
With these modern tools, you have the ability to reduce the integration cost and bring together these composable business applications that speak directly to the digital transformation needs of customers.
We at Sandvik Coromant are really excited how Dynamics 365 brings all the systems together. With this solution, we are able to reinvent the art of manufacturing.
Microsoft Dynamics 365 brings together the best of Microsoft technology. It will help accelerate your digital transformation to meet the changing needs of your customers and capture the new business opportunities of tomorrow.